10 celebrities who committed horrible crimes. The glittering world of fame hides a rotten core. Behind the red carpets and flashing lights lurk unimaginable secrets. A beloved comedian moonlights as a ruthless loan shark. A teen idol's squeaky clean image masks a gambling addiction that's spiraling out of control. Tonight, we peel back the layers of deception and reveal the dark truths these celebrities desperately try to hide. Prepare for the downfall. Christopher Maurice Brown. Christopher Maurice Brown, a singer, songwriter, rapper, dancer, and actor, has journeyed through a career of striking contrast, marked by both impressive successes and public scandals. Growing up in Tappahannock, Virginia, Brown's talent for music and dance blossomed early, captivating audiences at church and local talent shows. His captivating performances caught the eye of a production team, leading to a contract with Jive Records in 2004. His self-titled debut album, released in 2005, featured the chart-topping hit Run It, which instantly drew comparisons to established stars like Usher and Michael Jackson. Even early in his career, Brown's rebellious streak emerged. Instead of the usual high school prom king experience, he opted for a more unconventional celebration involving renting out a Virginia amusement park. However, Brown's rise to fame has been marred by a series of highly publicized controversies. The 2009 assault on his then-girlfriend Rihanna remains a defining moment of his career, leaving Rihanna injured and Brown remorseful, calling it a monster moment. "I felt like a monster," Brown later stated, acknowledging the event's enduring impact. He received 5 years of probation and community service. Another incident in 2012, this time a brawl with rapper Drake at a nightclub, further fueled the narrative of Brown's volatile nature. Though officially sparked by an argument over a bowling score, many speculated the true cause was their shared romantic history with Rihanna. The ensuing legal battle saw the nightclub owners sue both artists for $16 million, claiming that the celebrities should have foreseen that their notoriety and celebrity would ensure that their acts had far-reaching and devastating effects. The 2013 misdemeanor assault charge outside a Washington, D.C. hotel led to a probation violation and over 100 days in jail in 2014. Through these tumultuous times, Brown has maintained his musical output, releasing successful albums like the Grammy-winning FAMIE Kind 2011 and collaborating with artists like Rihanna. However, his personal struggles and legal battles continue to overshadow his musical achievements, making him a controversial figure in the entertainment world. Robert Downey Jr. On April 4, 1965, amidst the bohemian backdrop of New York City, Robert Downey Jr. entered the world, born to the avant-garde filmmaker Robert Downey Sr. and the actress Elsie Downey. His early years unfolded in the artistic hub of Greenwich Village, where he embarked on his acting career at a tender age, debuting in his father's 1970 film Pound as surprisingly a puppy. He'd later recount tales of eccentric childhood parties, attended by Andy Warhol himself, filled with avant-garde art and discussions way over a young Robert's head. He continued to feature in his father's cinematic ventures, but his parents' separation when he was just 13 years old triggered a relocation to Los Angeles with his father, who, at that time, was grappling with his own substance abuse issues. Downey's fledgling career saw moments of brilliance, with acclaimed roles in productions like The Pickup Artist, Less Than Zero, and Chaplin, the last securing him an Oscar nomination. However, his trajectory took a dark turn as he succumbed to drug addiction, leading to a series of legal battles. The 1990s saw him repeatedly arrested for possessing substances like heroin, cocaine, and even an unloaded .357 caliber Magnum, resulting in probation, rehabilitation, and eventually imprisonment in a California state facility for 15 months in 1999. Describing his time incarcerated, Downey painted a bleak picture. He said, "You could just feel the evil in the air, and that was no trouble at all because it was kind of like just being in a really bad neighborhood." He would later explain how he learned to navigate the dangerous environment and spoke of the pervasive sense of threat and the absolute lack of opportunities for growth or change. Yet, from this abyss, Downey managed a remarkable ascent. Post-incarceration, his path to recovery was paved by sheer tenacity and an intrinsic human ability to adapt, even when hope seemed lost. He shared sometime during recovery how he used kung fu to channel his negative energy. He said, "As long as you have a willingness to do harm, it is unlikely that you will be targeted." Observing the difference between displaying a capacity for violence and actually harboring it. Downey's comeback defied expectations. He anchored blockbuster franchises like Iron Man and Sherlock Holmes, achieving critical and financial success and cementing his status as a top-tier, highly compensated actor. His journey from youthful struggles to cinematic triumph illustrates the enduring power of resilience and the possibility for redemption woven into the fabric of human existence. Mark Wahlberg. Born in the working-class neighborhood of Dorchester, Boston, on June 5, 1971, actor and producer Mark Wahlberg overcame a tumultuous youth marked by violence, substance abuse, and brushes with the law. One of 9 children, Wahlberg faced hardship early on. His parents divorced when he was 11, and by 14 he had dropped out of school, falling into petty crime and drug dealing. Did you know that Marky Mark once convinced his friend, a budding magician, to perform card tricks for rival gang members to distract them during a less-than-amicable transaction? True story. At 16 in 1988, Wahlberg's life took a dark turn when he was convicted in 2 separate, racially motivated attacks against Vietnamese men. In the first incident, he and his associates hurled rocks and racial slurs at 2 men. The next day, Wahlberg assaulted another Vietnamese man with a large wooden stick, again using racial epithets. Initially charged with attempted murder, the charges were later reduced to felony assault. Wahlberg served only 48 days for the assault, a period he would later describe as transformative. "I was there, locked up with the kind of guys I'd always wanted to be like," he said, recognizing the bleakness of that path. Confronted with the grim reality of his choices, he vowed never to return. With guidance from his parish priest and his brother Donnie, a member of the hugely successful boy band, New Kids on the Block, Wahlberg began to turn his life around. He initially pursued a music career as Marky Mark before transitioning into acting in the mid-90s. Skeptics doubted his ability, but Wahlberg silenced them with critically acclaimed performances in films such as Boogie Nights, Three Kings, and The Departed, earning an Academy Award nomination for the latter. It is rumored he kept his Marky Mark persona's signature baggy pants as a reminder of how far he has come, occasionally putting them on for a solitary dance-off in his home gym, just to keep himself humble. Later in life, Wahlberg expressed remorse for his past, saying, "I did a lot of things that I regretted, and I certainly paid for my mistakes." He dedicated himself to personal growth and making amends, evolving into a successful executive producer for popular TV shows like Entourage and Boardwalk Empire. Oscar Pistorius, born without fibulas and losing his legs at 11 months old, wasn't the only challenge for Oscar Pistorius, born November 22, 1986 in Johannesburg. Imagine a childhood punctuated not only by physical therapy, but also the emotional upheaval of his parents' divorce when he was just 6. This was followed by the devastating loss of his mother at 15, a woman he often credited as his rock, quoting her as saying, "My mom was the one who kept me going. She was the one who kept me focused on my goals." Raised in a devout Christian home, he found solace and drive in sports, pushing past his physical limitations to become a Paralympic champion. He later even astonished the world as the first double-leg amputee to compete in the Olympics, securing his place in history. Pistorius' athletic journey was undeniably remarkable, filled with gold medals at the 2004 Athens Paralympics and world record sprints in the 100 meters and 200 meters. However, even his groundbreaking 2012 Olympic appearance in the 400 meters semi-finals wasn't without controversy. There was constant scrutiny, with the IAAF and other bodies questioning whether his carbon fiber prosthetics gave him an unfair competitive advantage. Whispers of doubt followed him even as he shattered records and defied expectations. People close to him even noted that in private, Pistorius was obsessed with speed and always tinkered with his prosthetics, sometimes even taking unnecessary risks in training in his pursuit of faster times. He was driven, almost possessed by it. Then came Valentine's Day, 2013. In a shocking turn of events, Pistorius shot and killed his girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp, at his Pretoria home, claiming he mistook her for an intruder. This incident instantly transformed him from a global icon to a murder suspect. Arrested and charged, his trial gripped the world. While acquitted of murder, he was found guilty of culpable homicide. He served a 5-year prison term and was released on parole in January 2024. The aftermath of his release has been complex. Steenkamp's mother, while accepting the decision, emphasized the enduring pain her family suffers. Pistorius now faces strict parole conditions, limiting his travel and alcohol consumption. His freedom is tempered by the weight of his past actions. Following his release, his family expressed gratitude, stating, "We are grateful for the support we have received from the public and the media during this difficult time," they expressed. "We hope that this decision will bring closure to all parties involved." Pistorius' story serves as a stark reminder of how one fateful night can irrevocably alter multiple lives. His once inspiring athletic achievements are now forever intertwined with the tragic death of Riva Steenkamp, casting a long shadow over his legacy. Rate your outrage over Oscar Pistorius' crime with a 10, outraged, or 0, unaffected. Comment with your thoughts and share to show support for Riva Steenkamp's loved ones and all victims of domestic violence. Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein, a formerly celebrated American film titan, co-founded the movie powerhouse Miramax with his sibling Bob in 1979. He quickly became a major force in Hollywood, responsible for a string of critically acclaimed and commercially successful indie flicks. Think Sex, Lies, and Videotape, Pulp Fiction, and Shakespeare in Love, which even snagged him an Oscar for Best Picture. But here's a twist: while Harvey was basking in the glow of Hollywood's spotlight, he was nurturing another passion: collecting rocks and minerals. His office, surprisingly, was filled with geological specimens. He always told us they were metaphors for character, beautiful but tough on the inside. However, Weinstein's legacy took a dark turn, becoming synonymous with a barrage of sexual assault and harassment accusations stretching back to the 1970s. In October 2017, bombshell reports from The New Yorker and The New York Times triggered a wave of accusations, with over 80 women coming forward. This ignited the firestorm of the Nasir Me Too movement, a global reckoning with sexual misconduct that spread from Hollywood to workplaces worldwide. Weinstein's early life was marked by a tumultuous relationship with his mother, whom he once described as overbearing, and a father he viewed as passive. He was a film enthusiast in school, already dreaming of making his own mark on cinema. He once envisioned creating a film about the lives of his neighborhood friends. Yet, it's been said his appearance haunted him. A classmate recalled him being pale and overweight, kind of an eyesore, really, potentially contributing to insecurities and later behavior. One story recalls Weinstein desperately wanting to be a radio DJ because he loved the idea of connecting with millions with just his voice. After Miramax's launch, Weinstein became the king of indie film, generating hits and piling up awards. But according to numerous accusations, he was simultaneously wielding that power to exploit and abuse. Many women have recounted how he allegedly leveraged his industry clout to coerce them into sexual encounters. In 2018, Weinstein was arrested and charged with rape in New York. He was convicted in 2020 of criminal sexual acts and rape, drawing a 23-year prison sentence. Later, he was extradited to Los Angeles to face more charges. In 2022, he was found guilty on 3 counts, resulting in an additional 16-year sentence to run after his New York term. Weinstein's downfall has become known as the Weinstein effect, sparking a wider conversation and a much-needed reevaluation of sexual abuse and misconduct across industries. It's a cautionary tale, underscoring the dangers of unchecked power and the imperative of holding even the most influential accountable for their actions. Jay-Z. Sean Carter, known to the world as the iconic rapper Jay-Z, reigns as a dominant force in hip-hop history, celebrated for both his musical genius and business acumen. His early years were forged in the crucible of Brooklyn's Marcy projects, a housing development notorious for its high crime rate and economic hardship. Growing up amidst the devastating crack epidemic, young Sean witnessed firsthand the struggles and desperation of his community. In fact, he was once neighbors with a future NBA star who he used to play basketball with, who always advised him to get out of that life and focus on his lyrical talent. A piece of advice that stuck with him. During a candid interview with Oprah Winfrey, Jay-Z didn't shy away from discussing his teenage involvement in the narcotics trade. He explained, "The drug kingpins were the ones I looked up to then. Music hadn't yet become a viable escape." He revealed that at just 13 he began selling crack, driven by a need to survive and a desire to emulate the affluent figures who controlled the streets. Recalling the daily dangers he faced, Jay-Z observed, "Just getting through each day in that environment was a matter of life and death." Despite his immersion in the drug world, Jay-Z found solace in a creative outlet in rap music. "It was a natural talent," he confided to Oprah. "My notebooks were overflowing with lyrics." Mentored by fellow rapper Jaz-O, Jay-Z began to carve out a name for himself within the local hip-hop scene, sharpening his skills and developing his signature flow. But the path to success wasn't smooth. In 1999, Jay-Z became embroiled in a highly publicized legal battle after an altercation at a record release party. He was accused of stabbing record producer Lance Riviera and ultimately pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor assault charge, receiving 3 years probation. "It was a moment of madness." He recalled the tension of that night with some journalists before, saying, "I let my emotions get out of hand." Years later, reflecting on the incident, Jay-Z asserted, "Those who truly know me understand my fundamental nature is kind." He has expressed remorse for the stabbing, recognizing it as a regrettable consequence of a heated disagreement, and has strived to move beyond that dark chapter. Jay-Z's career trajectory is a testament to extraordinary transformation. He evolved from a street hustler navigating the perils of the drug trade to a celebrated mogul who has conquered the music industry and beyond. His journey stands as a powerful illustration of resilience and the ability to triumph over adversity, both personally and professionally. Even more inspirational considering his journey with his teenage basketball friend and his advice that Jay-Z carried all this time. Loving this content? Show your support with a like and a subscribe. Not impressed? A like would still be nice, and your feedback in the comments will help me create better content next time. Will Smith. Will Smith, the globally recognized actor famous for his charismatic on-screen presence and inspirational persona, hasn't had an easy life. Growing up in Philadelphia in the late 60s, Smith's home life was marred by violence. He frequently watched his father physically abuse his mother. This traumatic childhood played a significant role in shaping his future actions and reactions, culminating in the infamous incident at the 2022 Oscars. Early in his career, Smith had a brush with the law, finding himself arrested for his alleged involvement in an attack on his record promoter, William Hendrix. He faced serious charges, including aggravated assault and criminal conspiracy, but ultimately, all charges were dropped. One little-known fact is that this experience almost derailed his career before it even began, causing him to temporarily lose a major recording contract and fueling his desire to reinvent himself as an actor. Smith overcame that legal obstacle and went on to achieve phenomenal success in the entertainment world. He rose to fame as one half of the hip-hop duo DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, before landing the lead role in the hugely successful sitcom, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. His movie career exploded afterward with blockbuster hits like Men in Black, Independence Day, and the critically acclaimed The Pursuit of Happiness, for which he earned an Oscar nomination for Best Actor. Interestingly, before venturing into music and acting, a young Will Smith was a talented student with a knack for mathematics and aspirations to be an engineer, a path he ultimately decided not to pursue. His personal life has been equally eventful. Smith's marriage to Jada Pinkett Smith has often been in the public eye, with the couple openly sharing the unconventional nature of their relationship. This openness, while admired by some, made them targets for jokes and commentary, as was evident at the 2022 Oscars, not BAFTA, contrary to popular belief. The shocking moment at the 2022 Oscars when Smith walked on stage and slapped Chris Rock after a joke about Jada's shaved head thrust Smith's unresolved childhood trauma and anger management issues into the spotlight. In his autobiography, he didn't shy away from revealing the brutal details of the abuse he witnessed. "When I was 9 years old, I watched my father punch my mother in the side of the head so hard that she collapsed. I saw her spit blood." He went on to say that this moment, more than any other moment in my life, has defined who I am. While the Oscar slap was met with widespread condemnation, it opened up an important conversation about toxic masculinity and finding healthier ways to manage one's emotions. While Smith grapples with the fallout from that night, his life journey continues to highlight the long-lasting effects of childhood trauma and the importance of facing it head-on. Harvey Philip Spector. Harvey Philip Spector, the musical visionary who would become known as Phil Spector, entered the world in the Bronx in 1939. His childhood was abruptly shattered at age 9 when his father took his own life, a traumatic event that prompted the family's move to Los Angeles. It was there, amidst the sun-drenched California landscape, that young Spector's musical talent ignited. During his high school years, Spector became a trendsetter, not just musically but also sartorially. He pioneered a unique fashion style, often sporting flamboyant suits, and his signature thick-framed glasses, a look that foreshadowed the eccentricity and larger-than-life persona he would later cultivate. He formed the Teddy Bears, who rocketed to the top of the charts in 1958 with the smash hit "To Know Him Is to Love Him." However, the band's success was fleeting, as Spector's true calling lay behind the recording console. Spector swiftly ascended the ranks of music producers, revolutionizing the industry with his signature wall of sound production style. This innovative technique blended orchestral arrangements with rock and pop sensibilities, creating a rich, layered sonic tapestry. Dubbed the first tycoon of teen, he masterminded a string of chart-topping hits for girl groups like the Crystals and the Ronettes in the early 1960s, including iconic tracks such as Da Do Ron Ron and Be My Baby. Spector's impact resonated far and wide, inspiring generations of musicians from the Beach Boys to Bruce Springsteen. Beach Boys mastermind Brian Wilson once enthused, "He was the first person we thought of as a record producer. He was like a god to us." Spector's creative zenith continued into the late 1960s, producing landmark albums for John Lennon and George Harrison, and overseeing the production of the Beatles' swan song, Let It Be. However, his increasingly erratic behavior and penchant for seclusion began to take a toll. By the mid-1970s, Spector had largely retreated from the public eye, his once bright star dimmed by personal demons. His eccentricities included reportedly wearing different shoes, carrying guns almost everywhere, and maintaining an almost obsessive control over his environment and sound, a foreshadowing of darker events to come. A chilling event in 2003 brought Spector back into the spotlight for the worst of reasons. Actress Lana Clarkson was found dead in Spector's home under suspicious circumstances. After a highly publicized trial that captivated the nation, Spector was convicted of second-degree murder in 2009, receiving a sentence of 19 years to life in prison. In a hauntingly casual statement in a 2011 interview, he offered, "I didn't mean to shoot her. It just happened." He died while incarcerated in 2021 at the age of 81. Spector's undeniable contributions to music remain forever intertwined with the tragedy that ended his career and freedom. John Lennon, perhaps prophetically, had once observed, "Phil Spector is a genius. He was simply too much for this world." Khloe Kardashian. The baby of the Kardashian clan, Khloe Kardashian, skyrocketed to fame along with her family on the reality TV phenomenon, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. But her path to stardom was a bumpy one, marked by a very public arrest, an uncanny ability to remember people's shoe sizes, and a brief stint behind bars. Did you know that before the family fame, she used to work as Nicole Richie's assistant, a world far from the flashbulbs and red carpets she now graces? Born in Los Angeles in 1984 to Kris Jenner and the late Robert Kardashian, Khloe grew up surrounded by affluence. She was educated at several local schools, including Montclair Prep, and remarkably finished high school at the tender age of 17. Khloe's formative years were punctuated by seismic family events: her parents' 1991 divorce and, more sensationally, her father's involvement as part of O.J. Simpson's defense Dream Team during his 1994 murder trial. People still vividly recall seeing a young Khloe often by her father's side during that tumultuous time. Khloe's career took off in 2007 with the premiere of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The show's success spun off multiple series like Kourtney and Khloe Take Miami and Kourtney and Khloe Take the Hamptons. Branching out in 2012, Khloe co-hosted the second season of The X Factor and, alongside her sisters, launched various clothing lines and fragrances, proving her entrepreneurial spirit. Few knew during this period that her secret passion was organizing and labeling everything from pantries to closets. She'd even call herself an organization freak if asked. In 2007, Khloe's personal life hit a major snag. She was arrested for driving under the influence, DUI, in California, after being stopped by police and failing sobriety checks. Initially, her sentence included community service and enrollment in an alcohol education program. She dutifully completed the community service aspect, but due to the whirlwind schedule of her burgeoning fame, Khloe violated her probation by skipping several alcohol education classes, a detail often missed by the casual observer. The consequence? A 30-day jail sentence. This prompted Kris Jenner's now iconic exasperated plea to Kim. "Kim, would you stop taking pictures of yourself? Your sister is going to jail." However, due to severe prison overcrowding, Khloe spent less than 3 hours incarcerated. Her representative released a statement at the time. "Khloe is ready and willing to serve out her sentence, no matter how long and where, and have this resolved." Khloe's arrest and brief incarceration became fodder for Keeping Up with the Kardashians, showcasing the family's reaction and Khloe's acceptance of responsibility. This episode was a clear turning point, after which the star frequently spoke about learning from mistakes. The viewers also had the chance to witness her growing up on the show, evolving from a rebellious youth to the strong woman she is known as today. Despite the personal setbacks, Khloe's career continued its upward trajectory. She launched her own talk show, Cocktails with Khloe, in 2016 and starred in the health and fitness series Revenge Body with Khloe Kardashian, further establishing herself as a multifaceted media personality. Throughout it all, Khloe has consistently demonstrated resilience, determination, and an ability to navigate the often turbulent waters of public life. Matthew Broderick. The bright trajectory of Matthew Broderick's career, built on youthful charm and acclaimed performances, took a devastating turn in 1987. A catastrophic car accident during a Northern Ireland trip with then-girlfriend Jennifer Grey plunged him into a tragedy that continues to resonate. Driving on the wrong side of the road in the rain, Broderick's vehicle collided violently, claiming the lives of 2 women. The victims, Margaret Doherty, 63, and her daughter, Anna Gallagher, 28, were killed instantly. Broderick, seriously injured, survived the impact. He pleaded guilty to careless driving, receiving a $175 fine, a lenient judgment that remains a source of ongoing public debate. Charges of vehicular manslaughter were never brought. Gray, the only other occupant of the car, recounted the horrific experience. "I was the only living witness because Matthew had survived, but he was unconscious and had amnesia and was very badly injured," she described. "I thought he was dead. I didn't even know there were 2 other women who were tragically killed at the time. It's just something that you just don't come back from in the same way." The accident left an indelible mark on Broderick. Years later, in 2002, he admitted the profound difficulty he faced in confronting the event. "It was extremely difficult coming to grips with what happened," he revealed, acknowledging the role of therapy and time in his healing process. Remarkably, Martin Doherty, son and brother of the deceased, eventually extended forgiveness to Broderick, stating, "He didn't kill my mother and sister deliberately. There were strong feelings at the time, but I have since forgiven him and feel no anger toward him." Despite this profound personal tragedy, Broderick's acting career persevered, leading to iconic roles in films like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and The Lion King. However, the car crash remains a largely unspoken chapter in his life, a sobering testament to the unpredictable nature of life and the enduring consequences, even unintentional, of human actions. Brandy Norwood. The multi-talented R&B icon and actress Brandy Norwood faced an unimaginable tragedy when her car became involved in a fatal accident on December 30th, 2006. While driving her Land Rover on Los Angeles' busy 405 freeway, Brandy failed to decelerate in time and crashed into the back of a 2005 Honda, triggering a chain reaction of collisions. Awatef Abudihaj, the 38-year-old driver of the Honda, tragically lost her life. Even though the outcome was devastating, the California Highway Patrol investigation determined Brandy wasn't under the influence of drugs or alcohol and didn't press charges. It was later revealed that Brandy bought a new car just 1 week before the accident. That's how much the crash affected her. The aftermath proved incredibly difficult for Brandy. She was subjected to intense public scrutiny and widespread criticism, with many people blaming her for the fatal crash. It wasn't just a legal battle, it was a battle for her mental health. The ordeal significantly impacted her career, leading her to temporarily retreat from the spotlight to cope with the emotional trauma. "There was a time when I was learning about myself through the public eye. Through Moshe, and then there's this Brandy thing, and then there's me. The person inside," Norwood later reflected. "Who is who? I was living my life for everyone else, and I'm not there anymore." Brandy's journey towards healing and overcoming the challenges was a deeply personal one. She turned inward, exploring self-discovery through practices like morning pages, a technique from the book The Artist's Way, to process her emotions and uncover her authentic self. This period of reflection and growth eventually led her to a place of greater self-awareness and authenticity as she rediscovered her passion for music and acting. Did you know that Brandy is also first cousins with Snoop Dogg? They grew up together and had the same singing teacher. From her humble beginnings in Macomb, Mississippi, and later Carson, California, Brandy Norwood started her musical journey as a backup singer for various teen pop groups. Her big break came in 1993 when she signed with Atlantic Records. Her debut album, released the following year, launched her career with the hit single, "I Wanna Be Down." Brandy went on to achieve remarkable success in both music and acting, becoming the star of the hit sitcom Moshe, and earning a Grammy Award for her iconic duet with Monica, "The Boy Is Mine." Despite the personal struggles she's endured, Brandy's resilience and dedication to her craft have continued to inspire fans and solidify her status as a true R&B legend. Jian Ghomeshi. Jian Ghomeshi, a name once synonymous with Canadian media excellence, faced a dramatic fall from grace after allegations of sexual assault and harassment surfaced. Born in London, England to Iranian parents, he immigrated to Thornhill, Ontario in 1974 at the age of 9. Notably a period when Canada was seeing a surge in multiculturalism, a topic Ghomeshi would later frequently discuss in his media career. He pursued higher education at York University, graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science, where his focus surprisingly included women's studies, a field that would later cast a shadow over his public persona. His initial claim to fame arrived in the early 1990s as a member of Moxie Früvous, a folk pop band celebrated for its catchy tunes and politically charged lyrics, once even performing at a protest against censorship. An ironic twist given Ghomeshi's future attempts to control his own narrative. He transitioned into broadcasting in 2002, initially hosting an arts program on CBC News World. Ghomeshi's ascent at CBC was meteoric. He hosted various music shows before launching his flagship program, Q, in 2007. Q quickly became a cornerstone of CBC radio, showcasing Ghomeshi's smooth demeanor and cultural savvy, making him a household name across Canada, though few knew he was intensely private. rarely discussing his personal life even with close colleagues, a trait that would later fuel speculation and mistrust. The unraveling commenced in October 2014. CBC abruptly fired Ghomeshi, stating they received information, rendering their continued association untenable. Ghomeshi preemptively took to Facebook, claiming his dismissal stemmed from fears about his private sex life becoming public due to a campaign of false allegations. Following this, a wave of women came forward, accusing Ghomeshi of sexual harassment and assault. By November 2014, Ghomeshi faced formal charges, 4 counts of sexual assault and 1 count of overcoming resistance by choking. The case proceeded to 2 criminal trials, the first starting in February 2016. Judge William Hawkins severely criticized the complainants' credibility, stating their testimonies were less than full, frank, and forthcoming, leading to Ghomeshi's acquittal on all charges. The second trial, scheduled for June 2016, was averted when Ghomeshi entered a peace bond. He also issued an apology to a former CBC colleague for sexually inappropriate conduct. Ghomeshi's abrupt downfall underscores the devastating impact of alleged misconduct, proving that even the most successful careers and carefully crafted public images are vulnerable to utter collapse. The shadows lurking behind the spotlight can be terrifying. We've seen how easily a hero can become a villain, how trust can shatter in an instant. Did you ever suspect your favorite childhood star could be capable of such darkness? Does this make you rethink who you admire? Share your reaction below with a yes if this hit home. Timeless Rewind is dedicated to uncovering these unsettling truths, so hit like and subscribe to join us as we continue to expose the hidden lives of the celebrated and the disgraced, because sometimes the brightest stars cast the darkest shadows.